What's going on, people? King of Chaos here. Just like I am every single Thursday, the boss man. He's currently sharing this. And if you're watching, listening, whatever you're doing, by all means, feel free to share this as well. Let's make this a party. Bring everybody on in. We are here. It is Thursday. We got that drive back to Queens, New York, right next to New York City, New York. And you're joining us for our live Q&A. So hop on in, do everything that you can, ask some questions, comments, throw anything you can at us. Let's add to this conversation as best as we can.
Tonight we're going to talk about self-entitled indie workers. Self-entitled, thinking the wrestling business owes them something. In fact, when they don't get their way or their demands met, the bad guy is the promoter. Perhaps we should start at the beginning.
If you'd like to. I'm going to start by saying that, personally, when it comes down to my students and the people I talk to in wrestling, young people, whatever it is, I come, in contact with a lot of people, every weekend. I'm always, the first one to say, wrestling business owes you nothing. And that's, I think, the important message to go with, is that no matter how much time or effort you put in or you think you put in, no matter what you do or any of that, anything, what's going on, Frank, what's going on, Zeno, what's going on, Chris Lazaro, it's Joe's favorite person in the world. The wrestling business owes you nothing. It's entertainment, and sometimes the best people for the job, don't get the shit that they want. Sometimes the mediocre person for the job doesn't get it. Sometimes the worst person does or doesn't get it. It's fucking, wrestling is a crapshoot, and it owes you nothing. So to have an entitled attitude about it is just, something that's kind of
great. Let's talk about
kind of stupid. Hold on, let me continue. Jason, what's going on? Tornado Panama, hola. Remo, what's going on? Tim, what if the business doesn't want you? Well, if the business doesn't want you, then it usually will fucking reject you pretty quick. I think, Warriors has a reputation of fucking taking in quite a few stragglers.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't you agree? All right.
So The Voice.
Go ahead and stop in with The Voice, who, by the way, The Voice had his infamous match with Rockstar.
That's where I got this episode idea from, because he put up that match to remind me of the time that he refused to get dressed in the locker room with the guys. He had an issue, I think, with Max Power shoes. Joe DeLeo.
Was it?
It was an issue with him.
Then I'm not remembering this at all.
Oh yeah, there was an issue with him, and he didn't want to be this. Oh, it ended up being an issue with everybody.
So when we brought shoes in, it was like the third or fourth show, right?
Second show actually.
Right.
But the issue with The Voice and him, maybe a few shows, maybe a fourth show. No, probably the third show.
Oh, I don't remember what that was. I'm like blanking on this one completely.
What happened was they were still at Gleason's together, and The Voice emailed Shoes.
Okay.
And Shoes went and he posted it up all over Gleason's fucking.
What's going on, Dallas, Texas?
And Voice told me he wanted his own locker room. We were wrestling in South River time before we even got to Staten Island.
Right.
Remember that? He wanted to get dressed with the chairs.
And let me preface everything Joe's saying in terms of this locker room. So the South River locker room is a very, very, very small locker room. Like, nobody was comfortable being fit in there, but it's what we had in South River at the time, and it was really nothing we could have done. So him asking for his own locker room was, even more of an atrocious thing.
It was across the building, both side. That's where they kept their chairs. I guess probably there's a boiler in there too, I think. To heat the building. And
yes, I remember this. They kept tables in there as well.
That's what he wanted, his own room. So the guys went, and they took a piece of paper or old tag, and they put The Voice's locker room on the door.
I remember that. And I think they did the same thing at Gleason. No. So, okay, so
they were posting the
right. So that I just remember this. So now here's what's going on. So The Voice had asked, all that, and the whole thing with you. So the show that I guess was leading up to, they printed the email and posted it all over Gleason's, like had copies of it literally everywhere. Which, I'm gonna be honest, I guess like at the time I was just like, oh, this is that. But like looking at this right now, like that's like some fucking high school Mean Girl shit. And fucking Gleason's was like a fucking shitty high school. Mm-hmm. Everybody was kind of a cunt there. You can't say cunt anymore apparently.
Cunty.
I say it all the time. Fucking throw me off TV. Yeah, it was super childish, man. Like, it was just stupid. Like, I get that it's, like, ridiculous and funny, and, like, I perfectly support, like, fucking ribbing the shit out of that guy in the locker room. But like posting that, that's like, again, that's some Regina George shit.
And I agree. The problem with this issue is, first of all, he's ridiculous for asking for his own.
Oh yeah, no, he's a ridiculous human being.
When Joey B, or I guess Kaplan at the time, because Kaplan was
not Kaplan,
was my right hand man, didn't give in to this. It became, we're the assholes because we didn't give him his own locker room. And I'm like, dude. And then eventually, he stayed for a little bit longer. And then he had an issue with JT Highlander. And he wanted me to get rid of Highlander. And when I didn't get rid of him, guess what happened? The Voice quit.
Right. See, that I remember. So let me now. We have to get into the story of his issue with JT Highlander. Would you like to share this? I'll plug in details.
Okay, so there was a match. I don't remember much about the match between those two. JT Highlander was absolutely horrible. Horrible. But in the beginning, this is what we had to work with. The Voice, I'm not going to go into his background.
Hold on, real quick. Zeno, if you look at my page from a couple days ago, I shared a match. It was The Voice versus Rockshaw. The Voice, he looks like fucking Black Kane. Like a black guy in a cane mask.
The Nigger Taker. That was his nickname. So,
sorry.
They came in the locker room arguing. I think. They came in arguing, and JT spit. And The Voice took his mask off at this point, and he spit in The Voice's face, and it was a glob of spit. Snot or whatever.
It was a loogie hanging down.
Yeah, and he wasn't wiping it off. And I remember the bruiser was trying to calm down the Voice.
You're leaving out great details.
This is 10 years ago, Jay. What the fuck do you want me to do?
I don't know. You should probably have a better fucking memory than I do. Anyway, so Voice versus Cross in a cage was an awesome match. That wasn't the one where Cross dislocated his fucking arm, right?
No, that was the show before that.
Right. This Highlander was another joke from Phil Haynes.
Who was saying this?
Phil Haynes said it was a joke. James Haynes said it was an awesome match. So, no, the thing about that situation was an utter garbage. And there was no denying it. They both come to the back, and The Voice is pissed off because he had a shitty match. And Highlander, I mean, in a professional, and I gotta say, like, it was professional on his part. He came, hey, man, we tried out there. Thank you very much. Shake his hand. And The Voice goes, nah, I ain't shaking your hand. That was bullshit. You this and that. And just fucking starts ripping into Highlander. And again, Highlander's keeping it. It's like, no, like, dude, like, whatever. It, like, sucked. Like, calm down. Like, trying to be legit about it. And The Voice is just fucking throwing a bitch fit. And then Highlander goes, you know what? Fuck you. Poof. Right in it, like, dude, right in, like, the fucking eye. And it's like, literally, it's like this fucking big on his face. Just like dripping down. Highlander walks to the back to take his gear off. Or just like sit down and chill where he was changing. And The Voice is standing there. Staring like fucking Festus. With the glob of spit hanging down his face. Like, I'm staring at this going on. I'm just like, oh fuck. But Voice is having no reaction. Like absolutely zero fucking reaction. And I'm like, fuck. Okay, so like we're all like, all right, like all of us are there and like there's no reaction. He's just standing there. He's like dripping down. I'm like, all right, we're cool. And we sit down. And everyone sits down. Everyone's going about this shit. A full 10 minutes later, he starts breathing like the ultimate fucking warrior. And just fucking makes a beeline, still with the glob of spit dripping down his fucking cheek. Beeline for Highlander, in the locker room fucking, like, stops it and breaks it up. And Highlander's just chilling in the back, like, not giving a fuck because, he tried being, right about things and, fuck The Voice, I guess. But the comedy you were saying was fucking Bruiser. That's where I'll let you come back in.
The Bruiser was trying to talk to him, but again, The Voice's face was fixated on whatever direction Highlander was at, and Bruiser's like, calm down, man. He's like, what's your name? And he's not saying nothing, and Bruiser's like, all right, let's try this again. He goes, my name's Mike. He goes, what's your name? And he looked at him, he goes, Vin. Because his name was Alvin, so I guess Vin.
Again, Joe butchered the story again. I can't give him anything to do here. So Bruiser's in the back, and like, oh, dude, I'm going to kill him. I'm going to do all this like craziness. And Bruiser's like, listen, you got to get out of character. Voice, Get out of character. You're stuck in your character right now. Get out of character. Oh, fuck, he spit in my face. It was like nonstop. It was like, listen, get out of character. What's your name? Let's stop. Get out of character. I'm Mike. What's your name? Vin. Voice, get the fuck out of character. And just kept going in with it. It was, looking back on it, it was the funniest fucking moment, I think, in the history of the Warriors locker room. I do know that that was the first Ultimate Survival, and we had
that's right.
We had to switch where they were in the Ultimate Survival match because I didn't want them in the ring against each other. And then that was it.
Fist fighting.
What?
Fist fighting.
Yeah, like the last thing I want is two unprofessional douchebags fucking fighting. And then he asked for JT to be let go, and Joe said no, and that was it. I remember.
Again, he went on MySpace because that's.
I remember the Voice and Hollander, and that match was awful. In Joe's defense, he's driving. He had to. Zeno, if you've ever driven with Joe, he doesn't concentrate on shit. He does what the fuck he wants to do. All right, go ahead. So the Voice goes on MySpace
and ripped me apart because I didn't get rid of Highlander, and all of a sudden, all this shit about me. And no matter what anybody does in Warriors, it's always gonna fall on me, even if I have nothing to do with it.
Hey, you're the boss. The buck stops at you. Makes sense.
But you know, the people that there's issues with the self-entitlement, they're usually not the best in the ring. And I could go down the whole thing, and Knockout is one of these guys too that I'm going to bring up. A good athlete, just not good in the ring. The thing is like they think that you got to heed to their demands. You know, get some talent. I don't know. Remember, the Voice told me at one point, by the time he gets to WWE, this is his fucking words, by the time he gets to WWE, The Undertaker will be ready to retire, he could pass on the mantle to him.
Yeah, the Voice is a bit of a delusional human being, but that's not necessarily
the point. There's a whole bunch of them.
You know, there's a lot of those in professional wrestling. That's just how it is. No, I think that the thing that you're missing, not that you're missing with the Voice, but the thing that, like, I guess is important about him is just, there was that sense of entitlement. It was a guy who didn't get it. Like, he just didn't understand, like, it's a work. People make you look good. And, like, you can't just sit there and be like, no, like, you need to do this. Like, people in WWE don't do that shit. It's laughable. It was childish. It was not a good situation. And then he was gone, and I mean, where's he working now?
I think for the Samoans in Florida or Hoffa.
Yeah. He's in Florida now, doing his thing. Joe, on a side note, just to let you know how much of a fucking goon this bald fella next to me is, last year I get a phone call from a number that I don't know. Look at that smile. Look at that smile. I get a phone call from a number I don't know. Yeah, who's this? Oh, you know who this is. No, I don't. Who the fuck is this? You know who this is. And I go, if you don't fucking tell me who this is, I'm hanging up the fucking phone. Oh, and then I fucking, like, talking through it, it was apparently the Voice.
I'm a wrestler.
Joe nearly kills us with this car right now, so he's definitely not paying.
This is me, the Voice, Alvin.
So my point of all this is that Joe had given this guy my number, who was then now pitching storylines, not pitching storylines to me for upcoming Warrior shows. Yo, you know what we need to do? At Warriors, I'm going to be in New York. I think you need to bring in Cross. We need to reignite that feud. And I'm like, you know we're in like the 10th year of the company and you guys were year 2, right? You're expecting a whole crowd to remember that? Yeah, they remember. And I'm just like, yeah, you know what? I'll get back to you. I think I blocked the number. This fucking...
I'm a wrestler.
This is the second time this motherfucker has given my number away to fucking creepy stranger. Well,
that's your cousin.
No, not just...
What was your cousin? And you threatened. You were really mad at me.
Yeah, because he's a sick person. Mentally sick. Joe gave my number to some weird dude who wanted to fucking slap me around for money.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
That's a really good story that we could tell one time.
That's a whole episode on that shit.
Yeah, we do need to do a whole episode on that story where Joe would give my number to some creepy old man who wanted to slap me around for money, and I had to call Joe up and yell at him. Do it for wrestling fans everywhere. What am I doing for wrestling fans everywhere, Scotty Cerriti? I don't know. The Voice equals money is what I'm hearing.
Who said that?
Tim Plum. The Voice.
The Voice is.
Rockshot equals money.
Rockshot wasn't an asshole. He just couldn't wrestle. He wasn't an asshole.
He was a clueless putz.
Fine, I agree. He wasn't a bad person. Let's move on to more entitled people. Recent times. So, where do I even start here?
Do it. They're asking